We are at the CEAT 2026. I am Prerna Lidhu and I am joined by Varroc Engineering's Dhruv Jain. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. We're at such a great point in the industry. Everything is transforming. Look at electronics, whether it's electric powertrains, and so much more is in flux. What is the mood of the industry right now? If you could just start with that.
Yes, no. So I think in terms of Varroc, of course, we're a global company. We focus, of course, on the Indian market, but we also have locations in Europe, in Southeast Asia as well. And so we also serve the global market.
Yeah.
I think one very exciting trend that we've seen the last few years is that we're seeing, I think a trend towards fewer computers in the vehicle. And we're seeing also maybe even more ownership of OEMs in terms of taking the design leadership on the ECUs or the computers in the vehicle. And then, for suppliers like us, there's an opportunity also because those fewer computers are very highly functional, they're very complex. High value items as well, and this could be of course on the low voltage side, areas such as ADAS or the cockpit, or could be on the high voltage side, which is more to do with the electric powertrain.
Right.
And so could be functionality such as onboard chargers, battery management systems, DC-DC converters, inverters, etc. And so the opportunity for us is that we can be the manufacturer, even if the OEM is taking the design leadership on some of these key electronics in the vehicle, or we could also engage in a joint development and manufacturing model. And so that's
a big opportunity.
So that's a big trend because mainly we are seeing a much higher content or much higher electronic content in vehicles globally. And perhaps it was more the American OEMs or the Californian OEMs and the Chinese OEMs that have led that trend. But we are seeing now also other OEMs, whether it's the legacy European OEMs.
They are also lapping up.
And of course, even the Indian OEMs who for sure are going to move in this direction from what we have seen.
Right now, what is the electronics content percentage and how is it expected to go up in the next few years?
Yes. So, of course, it depends from car to car. But what we can see is on maybe the most modern architectures, we're seeing that, electronic content could even be up to 20 to 25% of the vehicle BOM. So we're already seeing that in some of the new energy vehicle players.
Yeah.
Having electronic content, maybe the 20% range of the overall vehicle spend. That is something that I believe is already there for at least for some of these new energy vehicle OEMs that I mentioned.
So electrification and sustainability is sort of driving this trend.
Definitely, electrification is driving this trend. So that's on the high voltage side, as I mentioned. But the other big piece that is driving this trend is really more software content when it comes to ADAS and autonomy.
Sure. Yeah.
And of course the intelligent cockpit space as well.
Yeah.
So it's really both these factors that are driving this trend.
Right, because there's so much splurge of OEMs getting into it, and a lot of ancillary makers who are transitioning into for the new age world, new world order. What do you think would Varroc's differentiation will be going forward? What are some of the key things that you will bet on?
Yes, so maybe in the context of what we are talking about, which is high electronic content in the vehicle, for these different areas that we were talking about, different domains that we were talking about. So Varroc, I think one thing about us is that we can be flexible in terms of serving the customer in different ways, depending on the need. One, if the customer wants to take, let's say, more design ownership, in that case, we're also open to a contract manufacturing approach.
So flexible manufacturing.
That's one. Another way of collaborating could be that it's a joint development approach. So in Varroc as well, we have significant R&D or a large R&D footprint, not just in India but also in Eastern Europe, in China as well. And so we can also engage in a joint development approach. Or of course, even if the customer, for some products where we have the capability, some of the products that we're showcasing here in the infotainment space or on the ADAS space, here we can also take the overall development responsibility as well.
Okay.
So we can engage in different ways.
Okay. And what are some of the other trends that will shape the industry? Apart from obviously we've talked about electronics, ADAS being a major growth driver. What are some of the big growth opportunities for you?
So different growth opportunities for us.
Yeah.
So one, of course, I talked about electronics.
Yeah.
Electronics is, I would say, a very big growth opportunity for our company as a whole. Another area that we are, of course, are already in is in lighting.
Yeah.
And lighting also is something that we are doing globally,
Yeah.
both for both in the two-wheel space as well as in the passenger vehicle space. And so that's certainly also something that today, I mean, lighting is a key part of the styling of a vehicle.
Yeah, and it's only growing bigger and better. Look at the in-car and cabin space lighting. If you look at outside, the innovation that's happening there, it's incredible.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, of course, lighting has gone a long way the last 15 years from bulb-based.
It leaves people hungry for more.
Yes. No, so I think that's lighting also. The main topic is you have definitely, today when you have projector-based lamps, matrix technology, symbol projection technology.
So that's again a growth area for you.
Yes. So I would say electronics and lighting certainly also in terms of the business unit that I'm responsible for at Varroc is these two areas are certainly big areas.
Yeah, for global players, localization of technology, and even for Indian players, getting that technology out through exports is always a major challenge, because there was this thing about India making for the world. So how big is that for you today? Is that like a key focus area at this point?
Yes, no. So in terms of India being involved from a development standpoint on global projects, that is something that is definitely has been happening for a long time and will continue to just increase, because even some of the major, even whether it's a European automaker or a European tier 1, American tier 1,
Yeah.
everybody has a large R&D footprint in India. India is, in terms of getting R&D productivity for the value that one is spending. It is one of the best countries in the world.
Right.
And so that certainly will only increase. In terms of India producing for the world, I think probably depends product to product.
Okay.
Certainly, today when we talk about some of the key technologies, India certainly is also pursuing those. The car makers in India as well are certainly pursuing those. So definitely, the capability will only continue to keep growing. So yes, I would expect in the future
Right.
that we can have manufacturing in India as well for in a bigger way for OEMs around the world.
Sure. Lastly, just leave us with we're standing at the beginning of the year. What are the benchmarks that you've sort of set up for the company? Are there any growth projections and growth rates that you could share with us? Some growth ambitions that would help us understand where the company is headed in India?
Yes, no. So what I will maybe just talk about, so today in the booth today, what we are mainly showcasing is some of our newer products in the passenger vehicle electronics space. So maybe I'll just talk more about that.
Sure.
So certainly I think it's an area that we have invested in for the last several years.
Yeah.
And we'll be actually launching later this year our first infotainment system. And I think that's certainly an area that we want to grow a lot in.
Oh, nice.
And also when it comes to ADAS, that's another area that we've invested in. And we definitely see the market in India growing significantly. Today it is still a fairly low penetration. We think it's going to increase significantly down the road. Also, partly maybe driven by regulation, partly also just driven by the ADAS features being maybe more maybe being trained more extensively
Correct.
for Indian road conditions.
Yeah.
And so these are definitely newer areas for us as well still.
And you've identified partners in these areas.
So ultimately, when we are talking about these products, it's really a combined effort between our own R&D teams and technology partners that we have.
Makes sense.
And so it's really, we're trying to combine, the best of what the partner can bring and the best of what we can bring, and to serve the customer in the best way.
Sure. Thank you so much for talking to Autocar Professional.
Thank you.
Onwards and upwards.
Nice to meet you.